Your soulmate is one unexpected moment away from reaching out to you. Don't scroll, listen to this because your heart needs this right now. This message is for you. If these words found you today, don't dismiss them as just another passing message. Out of everything you could have been doing, something quietly led you here. Maybe you've been asking the universe for a sign. Maybe you've been wondering why your heart has felt unusually restless lately. Maybe you've been trying so hard to convince yourself that you're finally over everything, yet somehow one small memory still has the power to stop you in your tracks. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. There are moments in life that look completely ordinary from the outside, yet they quietly become the turning point that changes everything. They don't arrive with warning. They don't announce themselves. They simply appear when the heart has finally become ready. Somewhere, at this very moment, your soulmate is standing much closer to one of those unexpected moments than they realize. For a long time, they believed they had successfully buried everything they felt. They convinced themselves that life had moved on. They filled every empty space with responsibilities, work, family obligations, endless schedules, and constant distractions. Whenever your memory appeared, they immediately pushed it aside. They believed that if they stayed busy enough, eventually every feeling connected to you would disappear. But life has a remarkable way of revealing the truth when we least expect it. The heart remembers what the mind desperately tries to forget. Every attempt to silence your memory only delayed the lesson that was waiting for them. It never erased it. This message is for you. While your soulmate has been running from their emotions, the universe has quietly been preparing something neither of you can fully see yet. Sometimes destiny doesn't arrive through carefully planned events. Sometimes it arrives through an ordinary afternoon, an unexpected phone call, a familiar song playing at the perfect moment, a conversation with someone who unknowingly speaks exactly the words your heart needed to hear, or a place that suddenly brings forgotten memories rushing back. The universe often uses simple moments to awaken extraordinary truths. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate is approaching one of those moments, and they have no idea how deeply it will affect them. There was a season when they genuinely believed walking away was the only option. Fear disguised itself as logic. Pride disguised itself as strength. Silence disguised itself as peace. Looking back now, they realize none of those things were true. Fear never protected their heart. Pride never healed their pain. Silence never gave them the closure they hoped it would. Instead, every passing month quietly exposed something they could no longer deny. No matter how much life changed around them, one part of their heart remained exactly where they left it. With you. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. Think about your own journey for a moment. There was a time when every notification made your heart race. Every unknown number made you wonder. Every morning began with hope, and every night ended with unanswered questions. You carried disappointment that nobody else could see. You smiled through conversations while secretly wondering whether someone, somewhere, still thought about you the way you thought about them. Those seasons were painful, but they were not meaningless. They were shaping someone stronger than you had ever been before. Listen to this. Because your heart needs this right now. Healing has quietly transformed you. You may not even notice it every day because growth rarely announces itself. It appears in the way you protect your peace. It appears in the way you no longer beg people to understand your worth. It appears in the calmness you've begun feeling during situations that once filled you with anxiety. You are no longer the person who believed love required endless sacrifice without mutual effort. You have learned that real love walks beside you rather than keeping you constantly uncertain. Those lessons have become part of your soul. This message is for you. Meanwhile, your soulmate has begun experiencing something they cannot explain. Small reminders seem to follow them everywhere. They hear a phrase you once said. They visit a place that unexpectedly reminds them of your laughter. They watch two strangers showing kindness toward one another, and suddenly they remember how naturally kindness flowed between the two of you. At first they ignore these moments. Then they become impossible to dismiss. The reminders keep returning. Not because the universe wants to trap them in the past, but because it wants them to recognize the truth they have spent so long avoiding. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. Have you noticed repeating numbers appearing more often than usual? Perhaps 111 catches your attention whenever you're imagining a fresh start. Maybe 222 appears during moments when patience feels difficult. Perhaps 444 reminds you that even in uncertainty, you are not walking alone. Whether you see these moments as spiritual encouragement or meaningful coincidences, allow them to remind you that life often prepares the heart before it changes the circumstances. Listen to this. Because your heart needs this right now. There is one memory your soulmate keeps returning to without even trying. It isn't necessarily the biggest moment you ever shared. It isn't the dramatic goodbye or the unforgettable argument. Instead, it's something beautifully simple. A conversation that made them feel understood. A laugh you shared over something completely ordinary. The way you looked at them when they doubted themselves. The peace they felt sitting beside you without needing to pretend to be someone else. Those memories have become priceless because they now understand that genuine emotional safety is one of the rarest gifts life can offer. This message is for you. Your soulmate has also begun questioning the story they once told themselves. They used to believe that moving forward meant forgetting. Today they understand something very different. Moving forward does not require erasing meaningful people. Sometimes growth means finally appreciating what someone's presence taught you. Sometimes healing means admitting that a person changed your life forever, even if circumstances pulled you apart for a season. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. Imagine your soulmate sitting quietly after another completely ordinary day. Nothing dramatic has happened. The world continues exactly as it always has. Then one completely unexpected moment arrives. Maybe someone mentions your name. Maybe they find an old photograph while cleaning. Maybe they hear a familiar melody that instantly brings back everything they tried so hard to forget. In that single moment, every emotional wall they carefully built begins to crack. They stop asking themselves whether they still remember you. That question has already been answered. Instead, they begin asking something far more important. What if I've been running away from the very person who made me feel most at home? Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. The universe is not asking you to stop living while someone else discovers these truths. Continue building your life. Continue protecting the peace you've worked so hard to create. Continue becoming the strongest version of yourself. Your worth has never depended on another person's realization. Their awakening does not create your value. It simply reveals what has always been true. This message is for you. The unexpected moment drawing closer to your soulmate is not just about remembering the past. It is about awakening the courage they have lacked for so long. Reflection is slowly becoming determination. Gratitude is replacing denial. Hope is becoming stronger than fear. And as those changes continue unfolding inside their heart, the next chapter will reveal why one completely ordinary moment may become the beginning of the conversation they never believed they would have the courage to start. Don't scroll. Listen to this because your heart needs this right now. This message is for you. The unexpected moment your soulmate is moving toward is closer than either of you realizes, but it is not unfolding the way anyone would expect. Life rarely announces its greatest turning points. They often arrive disguised as ordinary days. A routine morning. An unexpected conversation. A familiar street. A song playing softly in the background. A memory that appears without invitation. What seems insignificant to everyone else suddenly becomes the moment that changes everything inside one heart. Your soulmate has been living through ordinary days for so long that they almost forgot extraordinary moments still exist. Yet the universe has been quietly arranging circumstances that will bring them face to face with feelings they can no longer avoid. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Some awakenings do not happen because someone goes searching for the truth. They happen because the truth gently finds them when they are finally ready to receive it. For months, your soulmate believed they had mastered the art of pretending. They smiled when expected. They laughed during conversations. They kept themselves busy with work, responsibilities, and endless commitments. Anyone looking from the outside would assume they had completely moved on. Yet every time the world became quiet, another part of the story revealed itself. It happened during long drives home. It happened while watching the evening sky after an exhausting day. It happened in the silence before falling asleep. Those were the moments when your memory quietly returned. Not to haunt them, but to remind them that meaningful connections leave traces no amount of time can erase. They stopped fighting those memories because every attempt to push them away only made them return with greater clarity. This message is for you. While your soulmate has been confronting emotions they once refused to acknowledge, your own heart has been walking a very different path. You have been learning what it means to rebuild yourself without depending on someone else's choices. There were seasons when you thought healing would never arrive. There were nights when the silence felt louder than any conversation you had ever shared. Yet somehow, one day at a time, you kept moving. You found strength in ordinary mornings. You found comfort in small victories. You discovered that peace is something you create from within instead of something another person hands to you. That quiet transformation has become one of the greatest blessings this journey has given you. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. Have you ever noticed how life sometimes repeats the same lesson until we finally understand it? Your soulmate has begun seeing familiar patterns everywhere. They meet people who remind them of qualities they admired in you. They hear advice that echoes words you once spoke. They find themselves comparing moments in the present with memories they thought belonged only in the past. At first they dismissed these experiences as coincidence. Now they are beginning to wonder whether the universe has been gently leading them toward a truth they have delayed accepting for far too long. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. There is one memory that refuses to leave them. It is not a dramatic farewell or an emotional argument. It is something beautifully simple. A quiet conversation where they felt completely understood. A moment when you believed in them before they believed in themselves. A laugh shared over something neither of you would probably remember if someone else asked about it. Strange, isn't it? The heart rarely treasures the loudest moments. It treasures the safest ones. Only now do they realize that emotional safety was one of the greatest gifts you ever gave them. This message is for you. The universe has also been reminding you that growth is never wasted. Perhaps you've been noticing repeating numbers appearing during meaningful moments. Maybe 111 catches your attention whenever you begin imagining a brighter future. Maybe 222 appears when you're tempted to lose patience with life's timing. Perhaps 444 reminds you that even during uncertain seasons, you are supported in ways you cannot always see. Whether these moments feel deeply spiritual or simply encouraging, let them remind you that your journey continues moving forward even when progress seems invisible. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate is beginning to understand something that once felt impossible. They no longer ask themselves whether reaching out would be uncomfortable. Instead, they ask whether remaining silent would become the greatest regret of their life. That single question has quietly changed everything. Fear once whispered, "Stay where you are. It's safer." Wisdom now whispers something different. The greatest risk may be allowing another day to pass without honesty. Every sunrise strengthens that realization. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Imagine your soulmate sitting alone after another ordinary evening. They look through old photographs, scroll past forgotten memories, or simply pause while hearing a familiar melody. Suddenly, they stop trying to escape what they feel. For the first time, they allow themselves to admit that the connection never truly disappeared. Life became complicated. Timing became difficult. Circumstances changed. But the gratitude they carry for what you meant to them never left. That realization fills them with humility instead of pride. They begin seeing the past not as something to avoid, but as something that taught them who they truly wanted to become. This message is for you. Never forget how much you have grown while all of this has been unfolding. You are no longer waiting in the same way you once did. You have learned that your happiness cannot be placed entirely in someone else's hands. You have built a life that reflects your resilience. You have learned that healthy love should bring clarity instead of constant confusion. Carry those lessons with you into every future chapter because they will continue protecting your heart no matter what tomorrow brings. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. The unexpected moment approaching your soulmate is no longer just a possibility. It is becoming inevitable because every lesson has led them toward the same conclusion. They cannot keep living as though your connection meant nothing when every meaningful experience continues reminding them otherwise. Reflection has become gratitude. Gratitude is becoming courage. Courage is slowly replacing hesitation. They may not know exactly what they will say when the moment finally arrives, but they are beginning to understand that silence is no longer the future they want. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Continue trusting your own journey. Continue protecting the peace you have worked so hard to build. Continue believing that your worth has never depended upon another person's realization. The unexpected moment your soulmate is approaching is not simply about remembering the past. It is about becoming brave enough to face the future with honesty. And in the next chapter, that ordinary moment will become something extraordinary as reflection turns into action, hesitation gives way to courage, and the distance between two hearts begins changing in ways neither of you expected. Don't scroll, listen to this because your heart needs this right now. This message is for you. The unexpected moment your soulmate has been moving toward is no longer somewhere far in the future. It is quietly approaching with every passing day, not because fate is rushing the story, but because their heart has finally stopped running from the truth. For so long, they believed they had complete control over their emotions. They convinced themselves they could decide what to remember and what to forget. They believed enough time would erase every feeling that still carried your name. But the universe has a way of gently revealing that the heart does not operate according to fear. It remembers what changed it. It remembers what made it feel alive. It remembers the people who taught it what genuine connection truly feels like. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. There are moments when one unexpected event becomes the key that unlocks years of hidden emotion, and your soulmate is standing closer to that key than they have ever been before. For weeks, something has felt different inside them. They cannot fully explain it to anyone because even they struggle to understand it. Life looks exactly the same on the outside. They still wake up at the same time. They still go to work. They still meet friends, fulfill responsibilities, and continue with ordinary routines. Yet beneath every ordinary day, something extraordinary has begun happening. They have stopped looking at life through the eyes of distraction and started looking at it through the eyes of gratitude. Gratitude changes everything. It has a remarkable way of revealing what truly mattered all along. Suddenly, the conversations you shared seem more meaningful than they ever did before. The quiet support you offered now feels priceless. The emotional safety they once received so naturally from you has become something they realize cannot be replaced by temporary excitement or convenient companionship. This message is for you. While your soulmate has been rediscovering the value of your connection, your own spirit has been rediscovering something even greater, your own strength. Think about how much your heart has grown. There was a season when you questioned every silence. You wondered whether you had somehow been forgotten. You replayed old memories searching for answers that never arrived. But today you stand in a very different place. You have learned that healing is not about forgetting someone. It is about remembering yourself. You have learned that your worth has never depended upon another person's ability to recognize it. That wisdom has become one of the strongest foundations of your life. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. The universe has been teaching both of you through completely different lessons that somehow lead toward the same destination. You were learning how to love yourself without conditions. Your soulmate was learning how to appreciate love before it disappears. You were learning that peace is more valuable than constant uncertainty. They were learning that genuine love is far too rare to take for granted. Neither lesson arrived quickly because the deepest transformations are never rushed. They happen quietly until one ordinary day becomes unforgettable. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. There is something your soulmate has started doing without even realizing it. They compare every meaningful interaction they experience with the feeling they once had when they were with you. They notice when conversations lack sincerity. They recognize when people only listen long enough to respond instead of understand. They begin appreciating the little things you once did that seemed so effortless. They remember how you celebrated their victories without jealousy. They remember how you offered comfort without expecting anything in return. They remember how you believed in them during moments when they struggled to believe in themselves. Those memories no longer feel distant. They feel alive. This message is for you. Perhaps you've noticed that your own intuition has become quieter but much stronger. You no longer panic every time you think about the future. You no longer chase every answer. Instead, you trust that what truly belongs in your life will arrive through honesty rather than confusion. Maybe you've noticed repeating numbers such as 111 appearing during moments of hope, 222 when patience is required, or 444 when reassurance quietly finds you. Whether you interpret these moments spiritually or simply as reminders to stay grounded, let them encourage you to continue choosing peace over fear. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate is beginning to recognize that the unexpected moment they have been approaching may not be dramatic at all. It could happen while holding an old photograph they forgot they still had. It could happen after hearing someone tell a story that reminds them of your kindness. It could happen while watching the sunset after an exhausting day when everything finally becomes quiet enough for the truth to speak. That is how the universe often works. It does not always change lives through spectacular miracles. Sometimes it changes lives through one ordinary moment that reaches an extraordinary heart. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Imagine your soulmate sitting alone in complete silence. There is no music. No television. No distractions. They simply allow themselves to think. For the first time in a very long while, they stop arguing with their own heart. They stop searching for reasons to dismiss their feelings. Instead, they ask themselves one simple question: if I already know what my heart has been trying to tell me, what am I still waiting for? That question changes everything because there is no longer an easy answer. They realize they are not waiting for certainty. They are waiting for courage. This message is for you. Never allow another person's awakening to make you forget your own. Continue honoring the boundaries that protected your peace. Continue building the life you have worked so hard to create. Continue believing that healthy love should never require you to sacrifice your dignity or silence your intuition. Every difficult chapter you survived gave you wisdom that deserves to stay with you forever. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate has begun understanding that every day spent avoiding the truth is another day spent delaying the life they genuinely want. Fear once convinced them that silence was safe. Now wisdom reminds them that silence has become the heaviest burden they carry. The unexpected moment approaching them is not creating these feelings. It is revealing feelings that have quietly existed for much longer than they ever admitted. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Keep trusting the journey that has shaped you into who you are today. Keep choosing hope without abandoning your self-respect. Keep believing that every lesson has prepared you for something healthier than what came before. Because your soulmate is no longer simply remembering you, they are beginning to understand what your presence truly meant in their life. Reflection is becoming certainty. Gratitude is becoming courage. And in the next chapter, the unexpected moment that has been drawing closer will finally arrive, setting into motion the first step toward a conversation that has lived inside their heart for far longer than either of you ever realized. Don't scroll, listen to this because your heart needs this right now. This message is for you. The unexpected moment your soulmate has been moving toward is no longer just a possibility resting somewhere in the future. It is beginning to unfold in ways so quiet that almost no one around them notices. Life continues exactly as it always has. The alarm rings at the same time. The same roads lead to the same destinations. The same responsibilities fill each day. Yet beneath every ordinary routine, something extraordinary has changed forever. Your soulmate no longer sees the world through the same eyes. Every experience now carries a question that refuses to leave their heart. What truly matters? Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. The answer keeps bringing them back to the same place. It is not money. It is not status. It is not proving themselves to anyone else. It is the rare feeling of being genuinely understood by someone who loved them without asking them to become someone different. There was a time when your soulmate believed they had unlimited opportunities. They assumed meaningful people would always remain available whenever they finally decided they were ready. They believed tomorrow would always offer another chance to say what should have been said today. But life has quietly humbled them. They have watched opportunities disappear. They have watched people change. They have learned that nothing valuable should ever be taken for granted. That realization has slowly transformed the way they think about every relationship in their life. Looking back, they recognize that fear cost them far more than honesty ever could have. Every time they remained silent, they believed they were protecting themselves. Now they understand they were only postponing the growth their heart desperately needed. This message is for you. While your soulmate has been learning these lessons, your own heart has continued becoming stronger in beautiful ways. Think about everything you have overcome. There were mornings when getting out of bed felt heavier than anyone around you realized. There were afternoons when something as simple as hearing a familiar song brought tears you tried to hide. There were evenings when you questioned whether your heart would ever feel completely at peace again. Yet here you are. Still standing. Still growing. Still believing in love without allowing heartbreak to define your future. That quiet resilience has become one of the greatest miracles of your journey. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. The universe has been preparing two separate stories that are slowly moving toward one meaningful intersection. While you were discovering your own worth, your soulmate was discovering your value. While you learned to trust yourself again, they learned to question the fears that once controlled every important decision. Those lessons happened separately because each heart needed space to become stronger before destiny could reveal the next chapter. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate has begun noticing something unexpected. The memories that return most often are not dramatic moments. They are simple moments filled with peace. They remember quiet drives where conversation flowed effortlessly. They remember laughing over things that seemed completely ordinary. They remember how your presence made difficult days feel manageable. Looking back, they realize they spent too much time searching for extraordinary experiences while overlooking the extraordinary person already standing beside them. That realization carries both gratitude and humility. This message is for you. Perhaps you have noticed yourself becoming more patient with life. You no longer feel pressured to force every answer. You trust that genuine love should arrive through honesty rather than confusion. Maybe you've continued seeing repeating numbers such as 111 whenever new hope begins growing inside your heart, 222 during moments when balance is being restored, or 444 when reassurance quietly reminds you that your journey still has purpose. Whether you see these moments as signs or simply meaningful reminders, allow them to strengthen your faith instead of your fear. Don't scroll. Because your heart needs this right now. There is something your soulmate has stopped doing. They no longer try to argue with their own feelings. They no longer dismiss every memory as simple nostalgia. Instead, they have started listening carefully to what those memories are trying to teach them. Every reminder carries the same message. Genuine love leaves lasting change. It changes the way a person speaks. It changes the way a person dreams. It changes the standards they carry into every future relationship. Your presence did all of those things, and only now are they beginning to understand the depth of that influence. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Imagine your soulmate sitting quietly after another ordinary evening. Their phone rests nearby. The room is peaceful. They think about reaching out, then hesitate. They wonder whether too much time has passed. They wonder whether you would even want to hear from them. But another thought gently interrupts those fears. What if the greatest mistake is allowing fear to make this decision again? That single question becomes impossible to ignore. Every day it grows stronger. Every day it asks them to become braver than they were yesterday. This message is for you. Never forget how far you have come. The version of you reading these words is not the same person who first experienced this heartbreak. You have learned to protect your peace without closing your heart. You have learned that love should create emotional safety rather than endless uncertainty. Those lessons deserve to remain part of every future chapter of your life. They are proof of your growth, not reminders of your pain. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. The unexpected moment approaching your soulmate is quietly becoming unavoidable. It may arrive through one conversation, one memory, one unexpected encounter, one ordinary day that suddenly feels unlike every other day before it. Whatever form it takes, it will not create feelings that were never there. It will simply reveal feelings that have patiently waited beneath the surface until the heart became strong enough to face them honestly. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Continue walking confidently toward the future you are creating. Continue trusting the peace that now lives inside you. Continue believing that every difficult season has prepared you for healthier love, stronger relationships, and deeper emotional wisdom. Because your soulmate is standing on the edge of the moment they have unknowingly been moving toward for so long. Reflection has become acceptance. Acceptance is becoming courage. Courage is becoming action. And in the final chapter, the unexpected moment that changes everything will no longer remain only inside their heart. It will begin reaching into the real world, where one courageous choice has the power to open a door that once seemed permanently closed. Don't scroll, listen to this because your heart needs this right now. This message is for you. The unexpected moment your soulmate has been moving toward is no longer hidden somewhere in the distance. It is standing quietly at the edge of their ordinary life, waiting for one simple opening. They don't fully realize it yet, but every lesson they have lived through has been leading them here. Every disappointment has softened their heart. Every unanswered question has humbled them. Every silent night has taught them something that constant noise never could. They have reached the place where pretending no longer feels easier than being honest. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. There comes a time when the soul becomes exhausted from carrying words that were never spoken. Your soulmate has reached that time. For so long, they believed that silence would eventually become peace. They convinced themselves that if they stayed busy enough, if they focused hard enough on work, responsibilities, and daily routines, the feelings connected to you would slowly disappear. Instead, something completely different happened. Life kept moving forward, but their heart kept returning to the same place. Every meaningful experience reminded them of the way you encouraged them. Every act of genuine kindness reminded them of your patience. Every moment when they needed someone to truly understand them brought your memory quietly back into focus. They finally realized they had not been forgetting you. They had simply been delaying the truth. This message is for you. While your soulmate has been uncovering these realizations, you have continued becoming stronger than you ever imagined possible. Think about the person you were when this journey first began. There was a version of you who waited for signs every single day. A version of you who questioned your own value whenever someone else's actions became confusing. A version of you who believed love meant holding on no matter how much uncertainty it created. But that version of you has grown. You have learned that real love should never demand the loss of your peace. You have learned that your worth exists independently of anyone else's choices. Those lessons have become part of your spirit, and nothing can take them away. Don't scroll. Because your heart needs this right now. The universe has been quietly preparing both of your hearts through different experiences. You were learning how to trust yourself again. Your soulmate was learning how to trust their own heart instead of their fears. You were discovering that healing is possible even without every answer. They were discovering that gratitude often arrives long after we fail to appreciate something precious. These lessons unfolded separately because both journeys required patience. Growth that lasts is rarely rushed. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate has begun noticing how often your memory appears during completely ordinary moments. It happens while watching rain fall outside a window. It happens during an evening drive when a familiar song begins playing. It happens when they see someone showing simple kindness to another person. Suddenly they remember how naturally compassion flowed between the two of you. They remember conversations that brought peace instead of pressure. They remember feeling accepted without having to pretend they were someone else. Looking back, they understand that emotional safety is one of life's greatest treasures, and it cannot be replaced by temporary excitement. This message is for you. Perhaps you've continued seeing meaningful reminders throughout your own days. Maybe 111 catches your attention whenever hope quietly returns. Maybe 222 appears when you're learning to trust divine timing instead of forcing outcomes. Perhaps 444 reminds you that even when life feels uncertain, you are not walking this journey alone. However you personally interpret those moments, allow them to encourage your heart to remain open while protecting the wisdom you've earned through every difficult chapter. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate has reached the point where they are no longer asking whether reaching out would change anything. Instead, they are asking themselves whether continuing to remain silent would be something they regret for the rest of their life. That question has become impossible to ignore. Every morning it returns. Every quiet evening it waits for them. Every memory strengthens it. They finally understand that avoiding vulnerability never protected them from pain. It only delayed healing. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Imagine your soulmate sitting quietly after another ordinary evening. The room is still. Their phone rests nearby. They think about your name. They think about the journey both of you have lived through. They wonder how much has changed. They wonder how much has remained the same. Then another realization gently settles into their heart. They cannot control how tomorrow will unfold, but they can control whether fear continues making every important decision. That realization brings unexpected peace because for the first time they stop searching for guarantees and start searching for courage. This message is for you. Never forget the promises you made to yourself while healing. You promised never to abandon your own worth again. You promised to choose honesty over confusion. You promised to protect the peace you worked so hard to build. Keep those promises. They are part of your future now. If someone enters your life, let them walk beside the healed version of you, not the version who believed love required endless uncertainty. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. Destiny is often shaped by ordinary people making extraordinary choices. One sincere message. One honest conversation. One decision to stop letting fear speak louder than love. Your soulmate is beginning to understand that the unexpected moment they have been waiting for is not something the universe must create for them. It is something they must be willing to recognize when it arrives. Every lesson has prepared them for that recognition. Every memory has strengthened their gratitude. Every season has moved them closer to becoming someone who chooses truth instead of hesitation. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Continue living your life with confidence. Continue trusting the wisdom your journey has given you. Continue believing that your future is built on hope, healing, and self-respect rather than fear. Because your soulmate is no longer standing at the edge of uncertainty. Reflection has become conviction. Gratitude has become determination. The unexpected moment that once seemed so distant is now only one courageous choice away. And as this chapter closes, the next one begins with a heart that is finally ready to let action speak where silence once ruled, opening the door to a future neither of you could have imagined when this story first began. Don't scroll, listen to this because your heart needs this right now. This message is for you. Every journey reaches a moment when the waiting no longer serves its purpose. Every lesson has been learned. Every tear has watered the soil of growth. Every unanswered question has quietly shaped two hearts into people they never could have become without the distance. Your soulmate has finally arrived at that sacred threshold. The unexpected moment that has been drawing closer through every chapter is no longer something that belongs to tomorrow. It belongs to now. Not because the universe suddenly changed its mind, but because your soulmate has finally become the person who can recognize the opportunity when it appears. Listen to this. Because your heart needs this right now. Sometimes the greatest miracle is not that life changes overnight. The greatest miracle is that one heart becomes brave enough to stop running from what it has always known. For so long, your soulmate believed they were waiting for the perfect sign. They imagined there would be one unmistakable event that would remove every doubt and guarantee every outcome. They hoped for certainty before taking action. But the universe has been teaching them something far greater. Certainty is rarely given before courage. More often, courage creates the certainty we spend years searching for. Every experience since your paths separated has quietly been preparing them for this realization. Every disappointment taught them what truly matters. Every relationship that lacked depth reminded them of the emotional peace they once shared with you. Every success that felt strangely incomplete reminded them that achievements mean very little when the heart still carries unfinished truth. This message is for you. While your soulmate has been learning these lessons, you have been building a life that no longer depends on someone else's timing. Think about everything you've overcome. There were moments when you believed your heart would never fully recover. There were nights when silence seemed louder than hope. There were mornings when simply getting through the day felt like an achievement. Yet little by little, you rebuilt yourself. You discovered strength hidden beneath disappointment. You found joy in ordinary moments again. You learned to trust your own intuition. Most importantly, you realized that your value has never been created by another person's decision. It has always lived within you. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. The universe has been working in ways neither of you could fully understand while you were living through them. One heart was learning how to heal. The other was learning how to be honest. One was discovering self-respect. The other was discovering gratitude. Those journeys were never competing with one another. They were unfolding side by side, preparing two different people for a future built upon greater wisdom than either possessed before. Listen to this. Because your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate no longer remembers you only through isolated memories. They remember the person you helped them become. They remember how your encouragement gave them confidence when they doubted themselves. They remember the patience you offered during seasons when they struggled to understand their own emotions. They remember that your love never asked them to become someone else before they were worthy of being cared for. Looking back, they finally recognize how extraordinary that gift truly was. It was not simply affection. It was acceptance. It was peace. It was emotional safety. Those are treasures that become more valuable with time, not less. This message is for you. Perhaps you've continued noticing little reminders appearing throughout your days. Maybe 111 catches your eye whenever you begin believing in new possibilities. Maybe 222 appears when life asks you to trust divine timing instead of forcing outcomes. Perhaps 444 reminds you that you are supported even during seasons when nothing seems to be changing. However you interpret those moments, let them encourage you to keep walking confidently. Your future has never depended upon fear. It has always been shaped by the quiet decisions you make every single day. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. Imagine your soulmate sitting beneath the evening sky after another ordinary day. The world around them is peaceful. The noise has faded. For the first time in a very long while, they stop asking themselves what could go wrong. Instead, they ask themselves what kind of person they want to become. That single question changes everything. They realize they no longer want to be remembered as someone who allowed fear to make every important decision. They want to become someone who speaks honestly, loves courageously, and accepts responsibility for the future they create. That realization fills them with a quiet determination unlike anything they have felt before. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. There is something beautiful about the way growth changes our perspective. The version of your soulmate who once believed silence was strength has disappeared. In their place stands someone who understands that vulnerability is not weakness. It is one of the greatest forms of courage. They no longer wish to protect an image of perfection. They wish to live authentically. They understand that meaningful relationships are not built by avoiding difficult conversations. They are built through truth, consistency, patience, and mutual respect. This message is for you. As all of this unfolds, never forget your own promises. Continue protecting the peace you created through every difficult season. Continue honoring the boundaries that taught you self-respect. Continue believing that healthy love should bring clarity instead of confusion, consistency instead of uncertainty, and hope instead of constant fear. The wisdom you earn belongs to every chapter that follows. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. The unexpected moment your soulmate has been moving toward is no longer just an emotional realization. It has become a decision to live differently. Whether that begins with a message, a conversation, an apology, or simply the courage to stop hiding behind old fears, the transformation has already taken place inside them. Their actions will simply become the visible reflection of the growth that has quietly been happening all along. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. As this story comes to its close, remember that its greatest victory is not found in any single outcome. Its greatest victory is the transformation of two hearts. You became someone who understands your own worth without needing outside validation. Your soulmate became someone who understands that genuine love deserves honesty rather than hesitation. Whatever tomorrow brings, carry those lessons with gratitude. Walk forward with confidence. Trust the peace you've built. Welcome every new beginning without abandoning the wisdom your journey has given you. Because the universe never wastes a season of growth. Every delay taught something valuable. Every tear strengthened your spirit. Every prayer shaped your heart. And now, as one chapter gently closes and another quietly begins, both of you stand stronger, wiser, and more prepared for whatever beautiful future unfolds next, not because fear disappeared, but because courage finally became louder.